Okay, another feature of the program is the diary. Now, we'll have a look at the meeting that ran on the 17th of August 2021. When you first open it up, it looks something like this. It's going to have the meetings, it's going to have a list of the horses and so on. So you've got to decide on which meetings you were going to bet on. So from that last video when we were going to do the place double or treble, we were looking at Aquis Beaudesert. So then the program opens up into a bigger screen, which will drag up so you can see it. Aquis Beaudesert, and the other one was Taree. Now the horses that were of interest at least, were Desmos. So let's see if we can find Desmos. You can just simply click on, or double click on it. Test of War. Put the first letter in. If there's a lot of horses, it is a bit tedious. Sir Piccolo. It's in here somewhere. And Leadership Spill. Alright, so we can select those. Now the bets that you would be having a look at, we can say we took 2 bets, and in this case they were both successful, and the bet style was win. This is more for Betfair. If you're going to bet or lay, you might do both. And it was a multi-leg. We were taking an all-up double or treble. So you can then choose an option. There aren't any options in here as such. We can add an option that was good. Alright, so we got positive moves, areas to work on. Alright, so things that worked, things that didn't work. So we can then put something in here. Took only a few bets. Click the button, adds it in there, and it's in there. Another option you might want to add down here might be, so add another option might be an area to work on. Took too many bets. Of course, if you don't like it, you can just delete it. That option's there for you to use at another time though. Alright, so the idea is going to be with this that in the future they'll be able to produce some reports from this to find out, which options you were using the most, which you were using the least, and so on, and find out if you can get some conclusion as to how you were going. Let's see up here, the meetings. Taree didn't end up having a bet in the end. Aquis Beaudesert was successful, so drag and drop from over there. Try to get it right if you can. So here, Desmos, you can write some comments, scratch the barrier. You can spell. Test of War 1. So Piccolo second. Leadership Spill 1. And completed a double and treble, for example. You can write whatever you like if you can type it. So then you can just save it. Opening balance, closing balance, you can put those in at the top. Sometimes, like if you're betting on the TAB, they don't give you the profit or loss or anything for the day, so you can put in there what you started with. That'll open up again in the next day so that you can keep track of your opening and closing balance. At some point in the future there'll also be a report coming out of that where it'll say what you won for the day and so on. So you can keep track of what you're doing. You can of course go and look at other days using the date function, which we're not going to do at the moment since they're not filled in. So you can look at other days. You can add in your main meetings, successful meetings, unsuccessful meetings. Depending on how you look at successful, it may be that you worked the meeting out really well and did a really good job that day. You could call that a successful meeting. The same thing with these bets. Total bets 2, so that was a double and a treble, for example. 2 were successful. You might have more bets and they were unsuccessful, and the other option here is what I would call a dumb bet. So the dumb bet in this case is something which you'll have to decide yourself as to how or why you would consider it to be dumb, but usually it's like, well, you just followed the tipster on the television, you decided to just bet on some horse for no particular reason and so on, and then it loses. Obviously you don't have to be unsuccessful with every dumb bet. Then likewise the quality, Now you can fill any of these in if you want to or not. So you might say, well, I had 2 A grade bets today. Alright, so you might have a whole lot of other bets. You might find that you're grading them, you have a whole lot of these D grade bets. Obviously you need to improve to try to be having more of these A grade bets if you can, and so on. So you don't need to spend hours filling in this diary, but it would be useful of each day. You added in the meetings you looked at, the meetings you were successful, unsuccessful. After a while, you might find that you're always unsuccessful at Sportsbet Pakenham Synthetic. It doesn't have the whole name there. And so after a while, you might be able to say, well, no, I need to give that meeting a miss. You can always go back and look at the diary the last time the meeting ran, which is in other parts of the program. So this is the diary. You can use it or not use it. It's another feature that you can possibly use to improve your general punting.